Wabani, Imperial Labor Camp. The girl in the Imperial jail cell says, "I don't know, Squidface. They're not driving us out to a day spa." And the creature lying down next to her says, "My name's not Squidface, and I'm not saying that we're gonna enjoy where we're going. I'm just saying you're gonna be there a lot longer than I am." She asks, "What makes you say that?" And Squidface replies, "You stole Hypo-Rock from an Imperial cruiser. The Empire doesn't take that kind of thing lightly. That cruiser was stuck out in deep space for quite some time. The stormtrooper guarding them inside the transport yells out, 'If the two of you don't shut your traps, I'm going to blast you,' and all of a sudden the stormtrooper is cut off by a large explosion. When the girl comes to her senses, she looks up to see a familiar face, who says, 'There you are, Jyn Erso, you old womp rat. This is exactly where I hoped you would end up, on an Imperial prison planet.' Jyn Erso says, 'Well, Declan, I always hoped you'd end up sitting on Darth Vader's lightsaber before he turned it on.' Then Jyn grabs the nearest object she could find and breaks it over Declan's head, knocking him out cold. Then she makes a break for the opening the explosion caused, only to see a large Imperial droid standing in her way. Jyn Erso tries to rush the droid, but is knocked to the ground, and once again looks up to see another familiar face. Cassian Andor, what on earth would possess you to break me out of prison?" Cassian responds, "Believe me, Jyn, I'd put a hole in your belly right now if the rebellion didn't need ya." Jyn looks up at the K2SO unit and knocked it to the ground and says, "I see you're still refurbishing Imperial hardware, Cassian. What makes you think I'm going to trust the rebel leadership? They want to throw me in a prison just as much as the Imperials do." Cassian replies, "It's your choice, Jyn. You can stay in Imperial prison, or you can come be in a rebel prison. My guess is you're gonna find the rebel prison more comfortable." Yavin 4, Secret Command Base of the Rebel Alliance. Once again, Jyn Erso asks nervously, "Cassian, what do the rebel leaders want from me? I know most of them hate me for what happened on Corellia. So them breaking me out of an Imperial prison doesn't make any sense." Cassian responds, for the 100th time, "I don't know why they want you. I just know I was ordered to get you and bring you here." Jyn and Cassian walk into the rebels' war room, and although there are about 20 people in the room, Jyn Erso's attention is locked on one. Mon Mothma. Jyn can't believe that the person known to be the mother of the rebellion is standing in this room. This must be bigger than Jyn ever imagined it could be. Mon Mothma says, "Hello, Jyn Erso. Thank you for coming. Can you please have a seat?" You're probably wondering why we would dismiss you from the rebellion and then break you out of an Imperial prison. Jyn Erso was amazed at how diplomatic Mon Mothma was. Jyn knew that everyone in this room hated her. Jyn was then made aware of the other people in the room when she heard the voice of Bail Organa interrupt Mon Mothma. Simply put, Jyn Erso, you're the only person in the galaxy that can help us with the problem we have. Organa pointed to the man standing next to him, and Jyn was shocked to see a man in an Imperial flight suit. The man spoke. "My name is Brody. I'm an Imperial pilot that flies cargo to and from the planet of Scarif." Jyn sarcastically says, "That's great, Brody. Now can someone tell me what I'm doing here? I appreciate the rescue, but can we get on with you telling me what you need from me so I can get on with telling you where to stick it?" That's when Jyn heard a voice that made her blood curl. "I told you this was a mistake. She's just gonna get more people killed." Jyn turned her head to see General Draven and couldn't help but blurt out, "I'm glad you're here, Draven. It's going to save me the time of hunting you down and killing you myself." Cassian put his hand on Jyn's shoulder and said, "You're in no position to make threats, Jyn." That's when Mon Mothma lost all her diplomacy. "I've had enough of this. Erso, you're going to help us because you don't have any choice. Now shut up and listen. We don't have time for any of this bickering. What we need to do needs to happen now." Shocked by Mon Mothma's uncharacteristic outburst, Jyn Erso says, "Okay, I'll listen to what you have to say." Brody stepped forward. "As I was saying, I flew cargo ships to and from Scarif for months before a man approached me. He said he needed my help and told me about the terrible things they were doing on Scarif, the horrible things they were creating. He showed me how evil the Empire was and convinced me that I had to do something. He told me how to get into touch with Bail Organa, and that Bail could get me into touch with the Rebellion. And then he told me to tell the Rebellion to find you, Jyn Erso." Jyn was absolutely shocked. "Me? Why would he tell you to come find me?" Brody answered, "Because the man that approached me was Galen Erso, your father, Jyn. Galen told me that he made the Erso DNA, a sort of skeleton key, throughout the Imperial base on Scarif. Bail Organa stepped in. Jyn, we're gonna have Brody fly you in a small group down to the surface of Scarif. Using the information that Brody gave us, your group will knock out the shield generators. Once your task is complete, Rebel forces will mount a full-scale assault on Scarif, leveling the Imperial base." Jyn interrupts Bail Organa and says, "When do we leave?" General Draven is shocked. "Just like that, You're gonna go on a suicide mission? Jin very coldly says, I joined the rebellion because the Empire kidnapped my father. You told me you'd help me find him, and after all these years, you finally come through on that promise. So thank you for that. But to answer your question, I've been searching for my father for most of my life, and now that he's here in front of me, there is no choice as to whether or not I'm going. Draven says, this isn't a rescue mission or so. You're going to be there to get us to the shield generators. Jin says, I'll shut down your generators, Draven. But then I'll get my father and get off a Scarif before you blow it to hell. But I won't be able to do it with some random nerf herder that you assign me. I'm gonna have to put together my own crew.